Now, this Sunday's omnibus edition of This Is Your Right, and Leslie Judd tries her hand at bricklaying at the drop-in centre in Nelson.
Hello again, and of course Jean Huff's with us as usual to sign the programme for our deaf viewers. Now today we're going to tell you about DISC, and the letters D-I-S-C stand for Drop-In Skills Centre. It's in Nelson in Lancashire. It is in part an offshoot of the Nelson and Colne College of Adult Education, but it's not an adult education centre nor an institution. It's different from most educational establishments because it aims at the 80 to 90% of the local population who never go into colleges because they feel they can't succeed. DISC, the first centre of its kind in Britain, really does work on a drop-in basis and not on the usual class timetable associated with conventional centres of learning. DISC offers the chance to anybody aged between 19 and 65 to try out a wide range of basic skills. It'll help the unemployed who seek new skills or enhancement of prospects, and it'll also help employed people considering job changes or who simply want to try something new. A lot of adults want to retrain for a variety of reasons, but just don't know what they can do, and that's what DISC is all about. The courses on offer at DISC will enable you to assess your abilities in a particular skill and to decide for yourself about possible options for employment and training, without making a long-term commitment, as is usually the case with training courses and new jobs. The idea of DISC came about just over 2 years ago through conversations between David Blezard from Nelson and Colne College, the present director of DISC, who is in fact blind, and Ray Phillips, the regional director of the Manpower Services Commission for the North West. The centre, which will cost about £100,000 in its first year, is funded by the Manpower Services Commission. By September 1983, premises had been found and the centre has been in full operation since January the 9th of this year. And since then, its approximately 600 adults have worked their way successfully through one or other of the courses there. All the services provided by the centre are free of charge. And perhaps more important still is the fact that no qualifications for entry are required. Leslie Judd visited the centre recently and brings us this report.
These are the workshops of DISC at Nelson. Housed on an industrial site, they did look to me more like a place of work than a place of learning. I went along to find out who was using it and first talked to David Blezard, the director of DISC. David, first of all, tell me, how did this whole idea come about?
It came about over a period of time through discussions between college staff and Ray Phillips, a number of the other MSc people, and it came about because the climate was right to look at experimental schemes for assessment and training of adults. And it came about because Nelson and Colne College has a fair track record and commitment to innovative projects for adults.
You must have had a fair bit of opposition there, I would have thought.
Not so much opposition as with any innovative thing, you're obviously breaking new ground. And when you do that, clearly you ask questions to which there may not be clear answers. No, it wasn't opposition. It was obviously people wondering whether it was worth investing in and whether or not we could actually deliver what we said we could deliver and whether the kind of experimentation that we were into was going to be worthwhile. And I think people are interested in the MSc and in education, looking for ways in which to involve more adults in the learning process. So there wasn't opposition, there was serious and hard questioning, and we had to be very clear about our objectives and the way we're going to go about it. And obviously, people trusted us and have backed us.
And what role did you play personally in helping DISC get off the ground?
Sort of assistant progenitor and midwife. Progenitor because I was involved in the original thinking behind the thing in a number of places throughout the region. We were experimenting with open access, independent learning, individual workshops. But nowhere had we brought the different concepts together in a single whole. And what I wanted to do here was to try and bring these together in a coherent way. It's a bit of a risk. It's untried within the overall concept here at DISC, and that's part of why we're funding this place, to find out whether or not operationally it will work.
Why do you think such a place as this was needed?
Manifestly because the present education service doesn't reach out to the numbers of people who are in need of assessment and training. The present educational service is for a percentage of the population. The greater percentage it doesn't cater for. It is fairly rigid. We still follow an academic year starting in September, finishing in June. Classes take place at certain times. There are syllabuses to be followed. If you miss one lesson, you get behind. That excludes a lot of people. Plus, any institution, unless you're bred to understand how it operates, is a little bit forbidding to a lot of people, particularly people who are employed, people who may not have a lot of confidence, people who may not believe that they can learn.
But there are lots of sort of specialist schemes for the so-called disadvantaged groups. I mean, disabled people, there is special training. Young unemployed people, there is special training. Do you not think that there is enough supplied already?
I don't believe that in a number of cases there is a clear view of what these schemes are trying to achieve. I think it's a false and a pious hope to make sweeping claims on behalf of retraining towards employment, for example, because manifestly employment levels are very high and all the forecasters seem to suggest that they're going to continue high. Now, I think we've got to look at what education and training is really about, and it's developing the talents of individuals. How then they use those is a matter for them. And I think that in our case, what we're anxious to do, we are a community college, is we're anxious to develop for the people of Nelson and Colne an integrated scheme, and by that I mean one which is open to all people and is not exclusive to any one group.
The day-to-day running of the workshops is in the hands of DISC's manager, Bert Cooper. And what does your job here entail?
Well, it's very similar, really, to industry in the sense that you are the manager, and therefore you're responsible for the administration, the staff, and the overall running of the place.
Talking about administration, you don't have a formal timetable, so how do you accommodate everybody?
It's an appointment system, just like going to the dentist, the doctors. People make an appointment. Because of the volume of people using the centre, we try to do a two-period system, which is, say, 9 till 10:30, 10:30 till 12:30, both in the morning, the afternoon and the evening.
And people can come along and make an appointment within that time?
Yeah, they don't really have to come along. They can ring up and make the appointment, but we try to accommodate them when they can come.
I notice in your manual that you refer to your people not as students or trainees or anything, but as clients. How did you come to that decision?
Not easily. We did discuss it on several occasions. It's important that we call them clients or refer to them as clients because that's what they are. They come here for a service. They're not students, they're not trainees, they're clients.
Now, what about the students, or rather the clients, I should call them? Do they get any direct financial aid to come here?
No, they don't. They attend on a part-time basis, on a drop-in basis, by appointment. Our view about the centre is that what we are trying to achieve is a way of reaching a far greater number of people than we've been able to through our traditional programmes. And the way that we're able to do that is by not paying allowances to people, that if they're unemployed, they remain on an employment benefit, but of course they remain available for a job if a job becomes available, which wouldn't be the case if they were attending a full-time occupational training course.
What we'd like to do here is enable the client to choose for themselves. That starts to build an attitude in the client's mind that they are a little bit special, that they actually are, being treated as they should be, with dignity, and with the kind of attitudes which perhaps they don't believe education can offer. The central approach to all of this is to try to develop learning packages, if you like, that enable the adults to self-pace, to be able to work by themselves at their own rate. Because the fact of the matter is, most of us do not learn at the same rate. We're not able to be straitjacketed like that. So we've got to recognise that the strengths of the adults are to be built upon, and one of those strengths is the capacity to learn, but not necessarily when we want them to, when they want to. So therefore developing independent learning approaches using radio, cassette, television, video, as well as written materials, diagrammatic materials. All these are important, and one of the thrusts of this place is to develop that, and that is very innovative, and a lot of other colleges and schemes elsewhere are coming to us to look not so much at DISC and the structure, the drop-in element, but at the learning materials, and that's where an awful lot of development is waiting to be done.
In fact, where did you recruit your staff? Because they're not teachers, are they?
No, it isn't a teaching establishment. They are people, well, we advertise, and most of the people here were themselves unemployed, had been made redundant, and I think that's one very important factor in developing the attitudes of the staff here. They've been through the process that many of the clients are now in.
What area does Home Electrics cover?
Well, the module starts at a 3-pin plug. We show people how to wire a 3-pin plug properly. Then we go on to things like a lamp holder. As you can see from the model on the wall, the build-up from that to doing a power ring main, lighting circuits. From that, we build up to different circuits like an electric shower. These are all built up on the boards first, so we get used to working with the tools. Then they go down to the house area and actually do the same circuits as they are on the job.
So they should be able to end up doing the job a professional electrician would do.
By the time they've finished, yeah, they should be somewhere towards wiring everything that they've got in the house.
What have we got here?
It's a power control unit.
What do you mean, one of those big fuse box
Big
things?
fuse boxes, yeah.
That I never dare touch at home. I know. Have you been doing a lot of this electrical work here?
Yes, this is my second time here. First time I come, I done a wired a plug. I'd never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
And then I did a lamp sock holder, and now it's advanced me onto this today.
That is pretty advanced.
It says by the time I'm finished, I'll be able to wire up my own house.
Is that why you came here in the first place? Because you wanted to do electrical work in your own home?
Well, you see, my husband's on shift work, and he's sometimes at nights, something goes wrong. It's either ask a neighbour or if he can't do it, or wait till he comes home in the dark. So I sort of want to make myself
self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient, yeah.
Right. Do you have to supply anything when you come here? Do you bring your own
no,
tools or
no,
screwdrivers?
everything's I just come as I am.
Yeah.
And Mike's very good. He shows you what to do.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it for you. He makes you do it yourself. You have to follow the manual.
Oh, that's the book that you work from?
Step by step.
And you can refer to that one in your own time?
In your own time. And if you really get into difficulty, he'll come along and show you where you've gone wrong.
Otherwise, you're left to your own devices.
You're left to your own devices, yeah.
Right. What are you going to do after you've done the electrical course?
I'm going to go on the painting and decorating, and I'm also on the computer course.
You're going to end up as a one-woman business. I'll let you get on. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
The computer course aims to crack the mysteries surrounding computers if you're an inhibited beginner like me. At the end of this module, a client should feel at ease in an O-level class. What level do computer clients start at?
Well, most of them, they start very basic level, and quite a few of them have never seen a computer before. And they're quite frightened of it, actually, because some of them, they're just coming in to have a look around at the place. And they might have one of the other skill areas in mind, and when they see the computers and when we tell them how easy it is actually to get going, sometimes they just stay behind. So initially, it's just getting familiar with the keyboard. We just got, on the screen would appear, find the letter O, for example, and they just have to find the appropriate key, and that way just they build up contact with the computer and take it from there.
How well subscribed is this section?
Well, I think it's the most popular, certainly in terms of number of clients registered, it's the most popular.
Why do you think that is?
I think, well, there is certainly a trend towards computers, and quite a few teachers have come in wanting to know more about computers. Quite a lot of parents have come in because their children are going crazy about computers. They want to purchase them, and they're always talking about them, and their parents want to get involved. And on top of that, obviously, the people with job prospects in mind, they're the main people who are unemployed, they've nothing to do, so they want to have a chance of trying something completely different. And because there's no qualifications necessary to do, so they're quite welcome, and quite a few of them have made a success of this.
Now, of the people that come here, can you break them down for me into percentages? I mean, employed, unemployed, women, ethnic minorities, etc.
We've done a statistical breakdown for the first 12 weeks of DISC. Of the 550 people who registered, something in the order of 34% were from our local ethnic minority population. Approximately 30% of the total were actually in jobs, leaving 70% as unemployed. Of the overall percentage, about 23% were women, and that's too low. And the greatest percentage, 85%, were in the 19 to 40 age bracket.
Why do you think that the percentage of women is low, or lower?
I think for a number of reasons. Unquestionably, one is that we have no creche facilities.
Do you have plans for that?
We will deliver along those lines in months to come, we hope, subject to approval, agreement, etc. But yes, we certainly are very serious about that, because you can't run a community education project unless you can deliver to all parts of the community.
Mind you, 23% isn't bad, considering the courses that you have on offer, because you're not offering traditional female courses, are you?
That sounds very chauvinistic to me. I don't believe that, in fact, women are precluded from construction professions or jobs.
I notice a fair proportion of clients at DISC generally are from the Asian community. Why do you think their response is so good?
I think, for a start, there is quite a high percentage of Asians in this area, of which quite a large proportion are, again, unemployed. And most of them have very few qualifications. Now, in ordinary colleges, etc., they know they have to have qualifications, O levels, etc., which they don't have. So they're afraid to go to such places. They would never go. Now, by word and mouth, people have heard that there's a place called this where you don't need any qualifications, there's no examinations, you work at your own pace, and there is someone called Sajid who will help them with their English if they have any problems.
I then went back to ask David Blezard if there was a tangible result for the clients once they'd completed their course.
What happens at the end when somebody has completed a module is that they receive an assessment profile, to use the present jargon. That means that they will have worked in conjunction with a technician during the module to find out what they are good at and what they're not so good at, where they need additional help and so on. And at the end, they are assessed according to the aptitudes that they've shown for a particular skills area. And in fact, we do give them a written, certified account of their progress. It is positive, i.e. we demonstrate what they can do. They know what they can't do. They don't want it spelling out on a bit of paper. They had that in school reports. What we do here is to try to demonstrate what people can do. We hope that that's going to be valid in the eyes of local industry.
Do you have any positive links with local industry?
We do. It's vital that this place is perceived by local employers as having relevance to their training and their assessment needs. When they're taking on new employees, for example, we hope, and it's beginning to happen now, that they will consult us if they want somebody, for example, in the computing field, because one of our modules is very definitely in that area. That's beginning to happen. Not only that, but we are also interested in supporting the numbers of local small businesses. There's a lot mentioned in the media about enterprise and how people should get up and set up their own businesses. What's often forgotten by those who put the money that direction is that you need more than money. You actually need expertise, you need support, you need training, you need backup when you're in that. That's why a lot of people who start up with a lot of flourish very quickly close down. I mean, the fallout rate in the enterprise allowance scheme is frighteningly poor. If that was measured in terms of cost effectiveness, I really wonder whether people would be happy with it. There's a role for an establishment like this to support those people, whether it's in terms of marketing, VAT, bookkeeping, or whatever.
Do you think some of the clients that you work with want to run their own businesses eventually?
Well, I think most of the clients that are coming at present are seeing if they're capable and have got the aptitude to be able to do certain skills like bricklaying, joinery, plumbing, etc. Some find they can do it, some find they can't. I've had 4 or 5 people who have gone on to top plumbing courses from this at present.
You were self-employed and you ran your own plumbing business, didn't you?
That's right, yeah.
Have you found that your own experience has helped your work here?
I think it's helped greatly, yes.
In what sort of ways?
Well, when you're in the building trade, outside in the big real world, you know what it's all about, meeting people and things like that. Since I've worked at DISC, I've found out quite a few things about people that I didn't know about.
Do you think this idea of learning at your own pace works well with practical skills?
Yes, it does, because some people tend to rush and make a mistake. Some people take the time and get it right the first time. people who rush, make the mistakes, and it takes twice as long as it does the guy who only does it once.
DISC doesn't only offer training in practical skills, it also has a vocational counselling service which advises clients on how to present themselves to prospective employers. Nancy, what do you actually do as a vocational counsellor?
Well, there's two aspects really to the work. On the one side, we offer information and advice for people who particularly know what they want to do and say, how can I do it? And the other service is for those people who have had difficulty in getting interviews for jobs, or actually had interviews and never got a job, who we offer help with self-presentation.
So you don't actually offer them jobs, do you?
Oh, no.
No. Right. So, is it only people who've actually attended here at DISC that you see?
No, in fact, people have been referred here from the job centre. They've come here just for the service.
John, what prompted you to come along to DISC in the first place?
Well, I was on the dole, and I've been on the dole for 2 years, and I saw this service advertised, and I felt at that particular time that I needed careers analysis, because I felt basically that my career was going nowhere, and I came along to see Nancy, and well, if you can have the actual truth if you want, I just came along, brought her a CV and my letter of application, because I'd applied for loads of jobs, been to loads of interviews, and I didn't know where I was going wrong, if it was me, or whether I wasn't suited for that particular job or whatever.
So you got constructive advice. Did that then make for a constructive change in your life?
I had constructive advice and I had options put forward, but I had to take those options. The initiative had to come from me, and...
Do you remember what the options were that Nancy gave you?
What the options were? The options were that the only way to get back into teaching, get back into, I'd never actually done it. But the only way to get into it was to start off doing voluntary work, which I did. And through doing that voluntary work and meeting people, I mean, it's only a small step, but I do teach now for 2 hours a week, which is the first time in 6.5 years that I've actually got a job at teaching. I know it's only 2 hours, but well, it's grown from there because I'm now doing a summer school for 2 weeks, and it seems to be growing all the time. And it's just changed my life completely anyway.
Briefly, do you cater for disabled people here? I mean, you yourself are blind. Would you be able to come along and use the facilities?
My wife thinks I should. Certainly in terms of my practical skills. Yes, the answer is we do. And as you notice, we're all on one level here. We have no problems in steps and lifts. And that's quite deliberate. We have ramp at the front. We are working on making sure that our bathroom facilities here are appropriate for wheelchaired people and so on. And certainly, and bear in mind, it's early days yet. Certainly, in the next month or two, we are going to target in on disabled groups. We're going to go to these disabled groups and tell them what we can do and how we can do it. Yes, we do.
I couldn't visit DISC without having a go at something myself, so I became a temporary client. This really is going in the deep end, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Is this how you first learned how to do this?
Yeah, by my mistakes.
By your mistakes? What was your first wall like?
A bit like that.
A bit like that? Oh, it's not supposed to do that.
Goes on the corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you want it.
It's taken it off again.
Oh, it's all right.
Oh, I see. I put it in the wrong place, right?
Yeah. So if you get it there, then your brick goes on the corner.
Okay.
You better put some more.
More cement. Right. Now, you look like you actually know what you're doing. How long have you been on the bricklaying course?
About 4 days.
Doesn't take long to learn, does it?
And that, of course, was Leslie Judd reporting. I'll have a word with her about traditional female courses before the Equal Opportunities Commission catches up with her. But that is obviously a very interesting and a very successful venture. And perhaps we might hear now about new DISC centres being founded in places other than Nelson in Lancashire. It's interesting to note that DISC takes people between the ages of 16 and 65. It's never too late to learn. So if you live near Nelson, and if perhaps you've taken an early retirement, why not pop in? And of course, in the meantime, if any of you would like our help or advice on any subject, you know where we are. It's This Is Your Right, Granada TV, Manchester M69EA, and that's all for today, so goodbye.
Lord Young visited Nelson and Colne College this afternoon, his mission to put a high-tech bus on the road to promote jobs in new technology. Lord Young got out of his car at the college and minutes later stepped on board a converted coach crammed with the latest computer technology. The Technology Express, as it's called, will be manned.